Ladies and gentlemen, I've been away for quite some time. As a matter of fact, I've been reading some of the Walking Dead comics lately. Just going back, taking a trip down memory lane. The good place, you know? The place where things, I don't know, let's see. Things like this happened. I don't know if you recall this. I don't even know if you know what this is. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the final page of the Walking Dead's comics. And that page shows Carl Grimes sitting with his daughter, living happily ever after. Now, sorry if I spoiled that for you, but it's a little old, whatever. So yeah, the story that I want to paint in this video is about a year ago. I made a video all about why I thought Carl Grimes' death in The Walking Dead was the worst decision that the show had ever made. I 100% still stand by that thought. Nothing's changed. It is the worst decision that the show has ever made. But that being said, I got to roll my sleeves up for this one. I wanted to talk about something different. I wanted to talk about why it wasn't that bad of a thing, at least in terms of season 8. Hear me out before you go getting your pitchforks on in the comments and all that stuff. I still think Carl Grimes' death was the worst decision not only in The Walking Dead, but in any TV show ever. I am not trying to justify it. I'm just trying to explain something that's been on my mind, and it's very hard. And I've tried to make scripts for this video, but I figured this is just one you have to like, you know what I mean? Sort of thing. You have to hear what I'm saying to get what I mean. This is going to take some doing. So if you have any reservations about what I've already said, click off the video, go, because I get it. There is no universe where it is a good thing that they killed off Carl. And I still don't think there is. But I liked season 8. I really did. If we're being honest with one another, I actually genuinely enjoyed this season. Does that mean I enjoyed them killing Carl?
No.
But I do think, and I made a live stream earlier today, and I figured I was going to write this video, but then I was like, you know what, let's just put this to camera. I figured let's just talk about it now while it's fresh in my head. In a nutshell, if you take season 8 out of The Walking Dead's story overall, the whole 8 seasons prior, and then the whole, I don't know how many seasons, 3 seasons or whatever after, you take all of that away and you just look at season 8. Let's just pretend it was a movie and you didn't know who Carl Grimes was. You didn't know who Rick Grimes, all of those characters. If I'm being honest with you, I would have actually had no problem with them killing off Carl in that instance. And I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more than I do. I think the reason that I did not like season 8 overall was that it was Carl Grimes that they killed. Now, that being said, I've been thinking about this a lot. If you put anyone else, even Morgan, who most people assume would have fit that role better, if you put even Morgan in the role that this story told with Carl, it just doesn't work. It doesn't. Yes, okay, you could tell the same sort of story a slightly different way and still have Morgan be the voice of reason to end the war, the all-out war. Absolutely, you could do that. But in the eyes of the story we were given in The Walking Dead's main show, I think it worked. This is where it gets messy in my head. I don't think it worked from a technical perspective. You can't kill Carl Grimes. Like I showed you, he was the final page of the comics, which, mind you, aired only a little bit after season 8 aired. It was not long after season 8 wrapped that the comics ended. I don't remember exactly how long, but it was probably within 2 years, I think. So there is no universe. Now, and I know Robert Kirkman probably had some legal reasons to want to end the show, from things like the lawsuits he's in with AMC and all of that stuff, and I get that, but there is no universe that Scott Gimple and crew didn't know that Robert Kirkman had big plans for Carl. I mean, at the point that we were at with the comics when season 8 was probably being written, there were some major pivotal scenes that already transpired with Carl that a lot of us fans were extremely excited for. Those things being his relationship with Negan, his relationship with Lydia, what happens at the end of the comics with Rick and all of that stuff. There was a lot of material. And mind you, I know that the Rick stuff at the end that I was talking about, that wasn't out at the time season 8 was out. So that didn't happen. But the point I'm making is there were some very heavy Carl-centric stories that aired on The Walking Dead's comics that didn't make it to screen when they were making the decision to kill Carl. And I get it. I made this video before, and I'm just going to say it here. I understand from a production standpoint. Look, this show has a budget, right? And I am not justifying anything here. I'm just talking about this out loud because it's fresh on my mind. It's just in my head. There is a budget for the show, and from a production standpoint, you have to cut corners somehow. You don't really have the option against it, you know what I mean? And at the time, Chandler Riggs was turning 18. Now, we don't know if this is the actual reason that The Walking Dead decided to get rid of Chandler. We don't know. We truly don't. There's a lot of dispute. There was stuff from Chandler's father. There was stuff from AMC. The stories are all over the place, and I don't know if we're ever going to know. I truly don't. But what I'm getting at here is, from a story perspective and from a production standpoint, it kind of makes sense why they did it. Like, I get it, because you have all these A-listers in a show this big with as many characters as there are. You have so many A-listers in there that are getting paid exuberant budgets. So when you have a kid making kid wages and then he becomes 18, you have to pay him more. So it makes sense, not justifying it, but it makes sense why they would want to, cut corners where they could. And you had another kid already around, that being Judith, to do that with. I get it. Doesn't mean I like it, because as some of you know, I couldn't stand Judith. I couldn't do it. And as a matter of fact, my dad and I used to watch the show together all the time. That's actually one of the reasons I think I love The Walking Dead so much. We watched it together, blah, 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 whatever, all that sap shit. Whatever. When the episode aired where Rick left the show and at the end we saw Judith with Carl's hat, my dad was like, that's it, I'm done with the show. Because it's unbelievable. They're trying to make Judith Carl, whatever. The whole thing I'm trying to say is you can't replace Carl. But in terms of season 8 of The Walking Dead, I think the story they went with actually worked. I actually really genuinely liked the story they told, and specifically liked watching it with Carl. Does that mean I think it was a good idea? Again, absolutely not. But I can't see season 8 having gone any other way with any other character, if that makes any sense. Yeah, you could have rewrote the show. You could have rewrote the season to be entirely different, and that's what they should have done. But the way it played out, outside of it being Carl Grimes, I actually really liked it, and I was okay with it on screen. Carl's death episode and the Bite episode where he got revealed were fantastic episodes. I genuinely enjoyed them. I liked the story that Carl's death brought. I liked that the spirit of Carl lived on through Rick, and it led him to go through peace and all of that stuff. I thought it really worked in season 8, but in a nutshell, because he is such an important character that without him, it just doesn't work. But in terms of the story, I liked it. And that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you were kind of like picking up what I was putting down in this video, and you know what I mean when I say that I enjoyed it, but that doesn't mean I'm okay with it. They're two very different things. I enjoyed visibly watching it, but I fucking hated it and think it was the worst decision that any show ever made, ever. Even over all the atrocities that Game of Thrones was, I think this decision was worse, but it was told a lot better in terms of actually watching it. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I want to start a conversation down there in the comments about this because this is definitely a divisive topic. So let's start that conversation down there. I can't wait to do so. And with all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!